It is Friday in the scenic city of beautiful Chattanooga, Tennessee. You are listening to Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m. You can probably listen to us at hotnewstalkradio.com. A lot of people do. If you're in your office, sometimes AM signal is hard to get through all of those walls and all that good stuff. Just go to hotnewstalkradio.com. And if you're like me, I pull up the TuneIn app, go to Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m., and boom, I can listen to us anywhere. I love it. And then, of course, follow us on Twitter at Hot News Talk Radio. And if you see something going on in this world in Chattanooga and you feel like other people need to know, maybe it's a traffic situation, maybe it's a situation that happened like a couple of weeks ago, tweet us. And just follow us on Twitter. It's Hot News Talk Radio. And you report, and we'll let the world decide. And as always, we are on YouTube. It's very simple, youtube.com. And then you go and just put in Hot News Talk Radio. Go in there, subscribe to our channel so you can get alerts. We run live on all of our local shows, and we got a really, really, really nice local lineup here, as well as some heavy hitters on the national scene. And the great thing about YouTube is you can always see what we're wearing. Tell you what, David Tulis had a great show today, as he always does. The most humble man in Chattanooga radio. I still say he's probably one of the smartest men in Chattanooga radio, but that's okay. And I sure you saw him all dapper. He always looks nice. Spent some time with David yesterday. Had a great time. We spent all afternoon together. We went out to some new folks that you're going to hear new sponsorships on here, and we're going to want you to get out there. We have a big announcement on Monday that I know a lot of people are going to really like. And David and I really had a nice time. That's why I was told by the program director, you better dress nice tomorrow. And I did. I dressed nice. I mean, I wasn't wearing the signature bow tie and his coat that David wore. But thank goodness the program director he's headed back off to Florida for some R&R. And you know what? I'm here in my normal Friday get up. I've got a captain's hat on and a little G-string thing, and I feel happy and free. And I'm doing the Russell thing today with no shoes, and man, I am loving it. And it feels great. Hey, look, before we get too far into this show, and I got a lot of stuff to pack it in here on a Friday. As always, Fridays are busy. Go to noogavets.org. That's noogavets.org. And this is a place where they're collecting money, and this is for the families of the 5 people that lost their life with a terrorist attack that happened a little over 2 weeks ago. Now, I'm going to tweet out this, so you've got it at noogavets.org, and it's 100% of the money is going to go to these families, and it's to help them, everybody's been very supportive, and man, we've done a great job here in Chattanooga. But this is kind of after the fact. They're raising money. If you've got $1, if you've got $100, if you've got $1,000, it doesn't matter. Just go to noogavets.org and give to them and show them that Chattanooga cares. And this is taking care of the families afterwards. There were some children that are left behind and families that are really, you didn't wake up and expect that. So Chattanooga's a giving town. And I absolutely know that we're going to do our part and give there. So thank you so much. I'm actually going to tweet this out probably at the next break. So I'll tweet it out. So if you follow me on Twitter, or even if you're on the Hot News Talk Radio Twitter, it'll come up there. All right, let's go to the thought of the day. Giving thanks to unknown blessings means they're already on their way. And you know what? I've already given thanks for the blessings that we had yesterday, and those blessings are rolling in right now with the new sponsorships, and David and I had a great time, and I appreciate him, and I appreciate him taking time, and he and I going out and really meeting new people, and it was just great, and I appreciate that. All right, let's hit some headlines. Look, the Navy officer confirmed that he shot at the Muslim terrorist with his personal weapon, and we're going to see what happens to that. Nothing should happen to him at all. He was a brave man and took action like he should and like he has been trained to do. Other headlines, and we got a lot going on this weekend. We're going to touch on that. And it says that there's a former Hays State inmate that says he was raped, and he's going to sue the warden and other prison officials. It'll be interesting to see how that's going to go. I mean, that's really interesting. And hey, last but not least, in Georgia this weekend, you can get the back-to-school goods for all tax-free. So school's going to be cranking up here in the next couple of weeks. So if you want to save some money, this coming weekend in Georgia is tax-free for anything bought that can be used for school. I know they do it in Tennessee too. So, like I said, a lot of things are coming up. It's going to be a great weekend too. From the Hot News Talk Weather Center, it is going to be an absolutely beautiful weekend. And once again, I think Russell, the news director, has pulled something on me, because once again, here's what he has for our weather report. He says guaranteed weather from now until midday. After midday, there's a 99% chance of weather, and this evening, 100% chance of weather. I don't buy this. I don't know what he's done to me. He loves putting this stuff in front of me. And then I start looking at it, and I'm going to read it. I mean, if he's going to write it, I'm going to read it. But the real forecast is it's going to be partly sunny today with a high of about 89 or 90 degrees. Tonight's low is going to be 66. And was it not a great morning? You wake up, the humidity was low. It was about 69 degrees, felt great outside. Tomorrow and Sunday are going to be in the low 90s, upper 60s at night. It's going to be a wonderful weekend to get out and do some things, and there's so much going on in Chattanooga. Our Lookouts won last night. They won 3-0. They beat those pesky Wahoos. They have 2 more games with the Wahoos. They have a game tonight. And, last night was UTC night, so all the UTC football and basketball players were there. If you were out there, you got to meet those guys and the coaches. I'm sure they had a great time, and more importantly, the Lookouts got a win. Tonight, they're going to have fireworks. Tomorrow night, they're giving away, I think, 10 used cars. So that's Friday and Saturday night. The Lookouts are in town. Best value in town are the Lookouts. Go out and support our local baseball team, Chattanooga FC, and they call it football club. It's soccer is what it is. They're playing Saturday night, too. They're going to be at Finley Stadium, and I believe they're playing an Indiana team, and this is part of the playoffs. So get out and support them, too. A lot going on here in a beautiful scenic city, Chattanooga. And, as most fans around here, especially if you follow college football, and we got a lot of those fans, yesterday was a big day. The preseason coaches poll come out, and that's a USA Today poll, and they go all the coaches, and they kind of rank people, and I'm going to go through the rankings right quick for you. I'm sure you may have heard this if you're a sports guy. If you're not a sports guy and you kind of are a gal and you kind of keep up with it, but I know everyone wants to know where Tennessee is and where Alabama is and where Georgia is. Number 1 in the coaches poll is Ohio State, and really garnered all but 2 of the number 1 votes. So they're the returning national champs, and they look like the coaches say they should start number 1, and I would agree with that. If they won last year, they should start, and they're heavily loaded. I mean, they're loaded at quarterback. It's amazing. They've got a lot of talent there. TCU, Texas Christian University, is going to be number 2. And then there is Alabama. The first SEC comes in at number 3. Number 4 is Baylor. Number 5 is Oregon. Number 6 is Michigan State. Number 7 is Auburn. So there's 2 in the top 10. Then Florida State, Georgia. So we got your Georgia Bulldogs coming in at 9. And then at 10 is USC, the University of Southern California. Notre Dame at 11, Clemson at 12, LSU at 13, UCLA, Ole Miss, Arizona State. Number 17 is Georgia Tech, 18 is Wisconsin, 19 is Oklahoma, and number 20 are my beloved Arkansas Razorbacks. Number 20, man, that makes me proud right there. Stanford's 21, Arizona, Missouri, Boise State, and then the mighty, mighty Vols of Tennessee come in at 25. First time Arkansas and Tennessee's been ranked in a couple of years. If you're a fan of either of those teams, you know it's been a drought, and it's time to get over that drought. We are the official NASCAR station, the only radio station in Chattanooga that carries NASCAR. Now, we're a locally owned radio station, so we don't have the big commercial owners. We're not some part of a big corporation. We are locally owned by two gentlemen here, and we have the right to give our beliefs and let people know how we feel and how we think. And we're very proud to have NASCAR. We're very proud to be that official station of NASCAR. This weekend, they're running at Pocono. Broadcast starts Sunday at 1:30. Now, if it was last weekend and you were searching around the TV, you may or may not have found it. I'm not sure where they're going to air it this week, but I know where it's going to be aired, and I can guarantee you that it's going to be 1:30 here on this radio station at Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m., your NASCAR station. They're going to be running in Pocono, and we're getting close. We're well through halfway of the season, and the chase is heating up. So you're going to want to listen to 1240 a.m. and hear exactly what happens on NASCAR. Great show, great call of everything that happens there, and that's 1:30. The Pocono race is this Sunday. Looking forward to that. I enjoy NASCAR. I tell you this, we're getting into the time of the year where college football starts up and pro football starts up. In fact, there'll actually be the first pro game will be next Saturday, a week from this Saturday. So that sounds pretty good. Stick with us all weekend. We've got a nice weekend lineup. Our weekday lineup is better than anybody else's in the city, but our weekend lineup, you need to listen to us on the weekends. One of the best shows, in my opinion, anywhere on weekend is Set the Hook with Pat Rose. I enjoy that show. I listen to it every weekend. It's on here at 1240 a.m. Hot News Talk Radio at 11 a.m. on Saturdays. And I mean, I just love it. I think Pat does a great job. He is a former professional wrestler from that late 80s, 90s era, and he brings that enthusiasm to the world of fishing. And it's just a very highly informative and entertaining show. We've got all kind of great shows on the weekend. We are going to keep you informed. And of course, we got NASCAR on Sundays, and this Sunday will be at 1:30, and we got a huge announcement coming up for the weekend. For Monday, and I think everybody is going to be pleasantly surprised when we make this announcement, and just showing that we're going to give the people here what we want them to listen to our radio station. We want you to listen to our radio station Monday through Sunday, because we do have one of the greatest lineups there is in this city, even the best lineup. All right. Like I said, I've got a lot to do today. I've got a couple of Twitter questions I didn't get answered yesterday. We're going to try to cover some of those, even though there's so many more, and I'll take another show next week and do that. The other thing is there's some drone talk, and we're going to talk about that, and I'm probably going to spend a segment on that because it has to do with Amazon, and has to do not only with Amazon and the delivery of packages, which is what everybody's talking about. And I heard Russell talk yesterday about something we had mentioned earlier in the week about the man in Louisville that actually shot down a drone, and he's going to talk more about that on the Digital Drive. But I'm going to talk about what Amazon is proposing and how you're seeing that business is coming into and taking over the commercial business, and they're taking over and planning ahead, where government always comes in and tries to, what I call, plan behind. So it's very interesting to see what they're doing. We're going to talk about that. That'll probably be in the second or in the third hour, or the third part of my segment here. Look, we do have a great lineup, and I don't know if you've heard this or not, but Daybreak USA, that's our early morning before the David Tulis show. And it is America wakes up to daybreak. And the host of that does a fabulous, fabulous job. Her name is Angie Alston, and she comes with a good positive spirit and a positive vibe. She covers a variety of topics. I mean, from women's issues to politics to just stuff to kind of help you get up and get going in the morning. Heard that, you normally don't eat steak and baked potato in the morning because it's kind of heavy, but you do like something light. You need that nourishment to get going. And that's exactly what Angie Alston does and brings it in the morning. We're proud to have her. And then, of course, at 9 o'clock, we're going to start to get in the meat of the day with the David Tulis show. Then I'm followed, and then the Digital Drive. You just got to stay with us all day. And then, of course, at the end of the day, we're going to end it with our local programming, and that's Cowboy Up with Text, the most unique show in Chattanooga. You got to hear him. If you're a Hot News Talk listener, which I know more and more people are. And, man, we appreciate that. We love that. And you can hear us at 1240 a.m. or hotnewstalkradio.com. Please follow us on Twitter at Hot News Talk Radio. That way you get to report, and we'll let the world decide. We'll let Chattanooga decide on what you're reporting. And as always, I'm always on the TuneIn app, and that's just tune in, download the app, boom, put in Hot News Talk Radio. You've got us anywhere, anytime. You are listening to Nooga Strong. My name is Eric Judd. We'll be right back. When we get back, I'm going to take care of some of those Twitter questions. We may even touch on this Chattanooga Pulse article. These poor climate change people. I feel so sorry for them. Once again, my name is Eric Judd, and we'll be right back.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Here you are, working to keep your customers happy and to manage your cash flow. IRS problems are the last thing you need, but here they are, flapping about you like vultures. Get help from Eric Pelton and his team of accountants at E.J. Pelton Company. Audits, letters, proposed return changes, 1099s, penalty threats. Pelton Tax Resolution Services brings peace of mind and helps you keep more of what you've earned. EJPelton.com. Offices on Brainerd Road and in Saudi Daisy, just north of the Bilo. That's EJ Pelton. Call 622-3156. Think ahead, 622-3156.
When my brother and I opened the first Jets Pizza, we believed if we made the best pizza, customers would find us. So we made fresh dough each day, used fresh toppings, and premium mozzarella cheese. 300-plus stores later, we still do.
Try Jet's famous 8-corner pizza with premium mozzarella cheese and one topping, now just $11.99 for a limited time only. Jet's Pizza, the best pizza in town. 3600 Hickson Pike.
Life is short. Eat better pizza.
Let's get Jets. Arnie Guest Goldsmith, Chattanooga's gold standard in quality, selection, and beautifully handcrafted jewelry. Arnie Guest Goldsmith has 7 jewelers on site and ready to assist you in the design of your one-of-a-kind diamond piece. Arnie Guest Goldsmith, Chattanooga's gold standard in quality, selection, and beautifully handcrafted jewelry. Arnie Guest Goldsmith has 7 jewelers on site and ready to assist you in the design of your one-of-a-kind diamond piece to the perfect affordable handcrafted gem. From just $20 silver earrings to your dream elegant work of art to adorn your finger, neck, and wrist, impressing your friends and family, Arnie Guest Goldsmith will ensure that your budget is met. Planning the perfect wedding or special event? Then let Arnie Guest Goldsmith assist you in choosing or designing the keepsake that will last you a lifetime. All of Arnie Guest Goldsmith repairs and crafting are done in-house, so you can be rest assured that it will meet or exceed your expectations. For over 30 years, Arnie Guest Goldsmith has served Chattanooga with the finest jewelry and services, meeting only the highest quality and standards. So the next time you think of jewelry, custom design, remounting, appraisals, or repairs, remember Arnie Guest Goldsmith. And please visit Arnie Guest Goldsmith at 5090 Adams Road, Hickson. That's 5090 Adams Road, Hickson. Call 875-2390. That's 875-2390. Or go to jewelryfromscratch.com. That's all one word, jewelryfromscratch.com. Jewelryfromscratch.com. Arnie Guest Goldsmith of Chattanooga.
Are you tired of working in corporate America, or have you recently lost your job and would like to consider owning your own business? If you are, please call me, as I can help you look at franchises or business opportunities that fit you, the economy that we're in, and the type of businesses that are right in the greater Chattanooga area. After I help my clients find the right opportunity, I also help them find the best way to finance the business, including paying yourself through the startup phase. If you would like to learn more about opportunities that may be right for you, please call me for a free assessment. My name is Bruce Krebs at the Entrepreneur Source. Phone number is 423-875-5621.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
You are listening to Nooga Strong. This is Eric Judd on a Friday, a beautiful Friday, low humidity. It's not going to be that hot as it's been in the past. Man, it's a great day to get out and enjoy it some way. You are listening to Hot News Talk Radio. So got a Hot News Talk Radio. If you're sitting at work, you can't hardly get the AM signal, which happens. It happens AM and FM. But you can get a great signal at hotnewstalkradio.com. There's half off on there. Do some shopping while you're zoning out. Find something Let us know what you want. As always, you can hear us on 1240 AM. Follow us on Twitter at Hot News Talk Radio and the TuneIn app. If you don't have the TuneIn app yet, why? Why don't you have the TuneIn app yet? That's my question to you. Get the TuneIn app. That way you can listen to us anywhere. Because this weekend you're going to hear NASCAR. That's right. The Pocono race is this weekend. We're going to actually have it Sunday at 1:30. And as everybody knows, it is the Tricky Triangle of Pocono. And that's always a good race. Good race. Hey, while David and I were out and about and being part of the community yesterday, we went by Harvest Grocery there at 5414 Hickson Pike. You need to go in that. They've been open about a month, I guess, maybe a little over a month. Tim McClure's done a great job with that. They have breakfast. They have breakfast in the morning, which I didn't know until I went in there. Great place to stop in. You're listening to Daybreak USA in the mornings. Go by, grab you some breakfast, and then get your day started in a great way. And then, of course, once you finish your breakfast and coffee, you're ready to hear the David Tulis show. And I tell you what, if you want to do this, and I want you to do this, here's my challenge for the weekend. Go to Noogonomics.com. Noogonomics.com. David is an excellent writer. You need to read what he writes. I mean, just he's a newspaper guy. He's a writer at heart, and it really comes across on his website. So go to Noogonomics.com. All right, I said we were going to try to finish up these questions on the tweets, at least a couple of them, and then we may want to get into this Pulse article, and it's just, it's a local newspaper here with a probably left-leaning slant. In fact, they're so left-leaning they may fall over. But we'd been talking on and off about climate change all week during the weather, and I think it's hilarious. I actually think it's a religion to these people. I really do. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. I'm going to go through the tweets, and then we got some drone news that's going to probably come up in the third segment. Talk about how Amazon is kind of really being the forefront in here, and we're seeing what should happen, where businesses are proposing, here's the way we would like to do business, instead of the government, who has no clue what they're doing, come in and make some rules. I was talking to the Barefoot Russell, which he normally does the digital drive barefoot. I don't know if you know that or not. And if you're watching us on YouTube, which you should, it's just youtube.com, Hot News Talk Radio. It's very simple to see. Click on, it's a live broadcast. I'm broadcasting live right now in my captain's hat and my G-string. But anyway, Russell always is barefooted, and he kicks. Sometimes he does these high kicks. When he gets excited about something, he'll start doing these high kicks, and you can see he's barefooted. So maybe that's be a good contest we have. How many high kicks did Russell have during his show? But this show, he's actually going to get into some drone news. He's going to talk about, he had talked about a little bit yesterday, and he's going to talk about more about the guy that shot down a drone, I think out of Louisville, Kentucky. And he's going to talk about why it is so important for you with your smartphone or whatever you're carrying, to, if you get in any kind of interaction with a government official, always video it. And so listen to the digital drive from 12 to noon. He has a 1 minute show, and it's a heck of a show. No, it's from 12 to 1. Russell does a great job. He takes some of this complex stuff and really kind of brings it into, brings it down to Chattanooga's level. When I say Chattanooga's level, why this tech will affect Chattanooga's level. I'm not saying that we are we're not smart enough to understand this, even though in my case, he brings it down to a level where I can understand it. It is a great show. I enjoy listening to him. And then, he's back on. We have the Hot News Live at 5, where he puts his news director hat on, and he's going to get you on the ride home. We're going to make sure you're safe. We're going to give you traffic. We're going to give you a weather update. 3 or 4 times an hour. We're going to make sure that you get home safe. Plus, he's going to give you all the local news for the day. And if there's any breaking national or world news, he's going to cover that too. And then, of course, after him is Cowboy Up with Tex. Man, Chattanooga's most unique show. You have to listen to Tex. You know what? He's a true Texan. If you watch him on YouTube, you'll see he wears hats and boots every day. All right, let's get into, I've got a few, just 2 or 3 more of these Twitter questions that we put out there, and people ask me, and then I'm going to cover some more. One of them asked me about my religious views. And you know what? That's going to take a whole segment, because when I get started talking about that, I get a little passionate about it, and I don't want to do it in 3 or 4 minutes, because when I go to explain myself, first people are taken aback, and then second, people, they start shaking their heads, yes, and they understand that maybe, you know, I'm not as bad as they thought it would be. And then by the end of it, they're usually, yeah, I understand how you feel. It all has to do with love and the Lord above. And so I'll take a whole segment next week and talk about that. But one of the questions says, what do you think of Donald Trump? Well, I think he's a very successful man. I think he's extremely rich. And I think that if you look at Donald Trump, with the way he has persevered, never given up, and he keeps his goals ahead of him, and he always believes in himself, he is a great role model in that respect. Now, you can argue, well, maybe he's, you know, walked over people, maybe he's hurt people, but still, if his focus, when he says he's going to do something, he does it. Now, I'm going to tell you, I probably would not vote for him for president. I do like this. I like that he stands up to the media. He stands up to Hillary Clinton and the Democrats, and then he doesn't apologize for it. I think that's one of the big things. We got a lot of politicians that will say something, and they don't even get it out of their mouth good until they're walking it back. Oh, I didn't really mean it this way. You know, is he crass? Is he right on some things? Yes, he is. But he's crass, and he's, you know, people say he's mean-spirited. They don't like the way he said it and all that, but he says it. It's the truth, and he doesn't apologize for it. And I think that's why he is so popular right now, because he doesn't apologize for these things. He comes at them, and he says, boom, you know, here's what I think on immigration. And everybody, oh, my gosh, I can't believe he said that about the Mexican. But it's true. You know, and here's his thoughts here, and he doesn't back down from them. And I like that. And even when the allegations in his divorce that came out earlier in the week, you know, he took it head on and said, no, here's what you're doing. Here's where you're wrong. And I like a politician like that. First of all, I don't think he's a politician. He plays the game of politics and business all the time, but he's used to the kind of guy that says, you know, do this, and people jump and do it. And I think some of that comes across in his campaign. Now, as I said, I will not vote for him, because there's some issues that are pretty big to me that I just couldn't vote for him, because he's and I say in the primary, you know, if he is the lesser of two evils, or if he is, you know, if he makes it through and he's the nominee, and I look around and there's nobody in a third party that you know, that my obligation is to vote, and I'm going to vote. So, but the next question from Twitter is, what presidential candidate do you like of this, what is it, field of 58 people or something? I mean, it's incredible. There's enough people for 2 basketball teams here with, you know, running for president, which I think is just funny. I mean, and the Democrats barely have any. So, you know, anyway, but who would I vote for? And who do I like to see, and who do I listen to? And I keep up with this, you know, and I try to listen to them all. I want to know what, you know, what they stand for, and we'll find out more in the debates. But I really like Dr. Ben Carson, and I like that he's measured. He's got a lot of common sense about him. He's not a politician. He may not be as over the top and in your face as Trump, but, you know, in a very controlled way, he makes his point. He has some great points. I was watching him the other day, and he said something. They were in a roundtable discussion, and they said, well, you know, how does your lack of you know, with international, your lack of international, you know, dealings with other countries and other governments, how is that going to affect your president? He goes, you know what? When it comes to foreign policy, who has, you know, any more foreign policy experience than anyone else in the field. And I would agree with him. You know, you've got a couple of senators there that they may have a little more knowledge because they're in some meetings on foreign policy. You've got governors there. They really don't have any foreign policy knowledge. And my goodness gracious, Obama still doesn't have any foreign policy knowledge. I mean, he is, you know, as clueless as the day they swore him in. So I don't think that, to me, I think if you have a learned man, and you know what he said, and man, I love this. He said, you know what I don't know, I've always been able to learn. And man, to have someone to step up the plate and say, you know, there are things I don't know, but I can learn them. I know I can learn them, and I will learn them. To me, says a lot, instead of saying, well, you know, giving some political hack answer that is just, you know, and everyone's tired of it. I think Trump is overshadowing, because that's Trump. I mean, Trump's a showman, you know, and you could say in a way he's kind of a bully. And when I say in a bully, I'm not saying in a bad way. I'm saying he steps up and says, everybody look at me, look at me, look at me. And you got, you know, Dr. Ben Carson's not that personality, but if you listen to him, I like what he has to say. There's some other candidates, you know, right now is a good time to gather information about them all and to learn about them all and then start making our decision. And hopefully by the time the Tennessee primary comes around, there will still be a chance for us to give our input in and make sure we get the right person. All right, right quickly, I'm going to go over this article in the Chattanooga Pulse. It's a weekly thing, and it talks about climate change. And we'll go through this right quick because I don't want to spend a lot of time on it, because climate change is just probably one of the biggest hoaxes that's ever happened. It's real, it's here, and it's up to us to change. The whole article talks about, you know, how can we save the planet locally in Chattanooga? How can you save it? But they do make some, you know, they do make some admissions in here that they don't think that climate change is going to be the end of the world, but they do want to recommend, and they're the same recommendations. There were just a few that, I mean, plant trees. I agree with that. I mean, I like trees. I like shade, especially in the summer, because I tend to get hot, but I like trees. I'm not going to be, you know, the new Johnny Appleseed or anything like that. But this one, just these two things really got me. Mow your yard less. Now listen to this. Gas mowers are CO2 belching monsters. The typical weekly lawn mowing ritual is pure Victorian era vanity. That is just too funny. Obviously, whoever wrote this lives in an apartment. So switch to every 2 to 3 week schedule. Well, all right. You know, hey, he's probably never mowed his grass. I mowed yesterday. Probably never mowed his grass. Who, you know, this guy has probably never mowed a yard. If you wait 2 to 3 weeks, you're going to take more time. You're going to belch. That monster, that CO2 belching monster, is going to work harder if you wait 3 weeks, especially with the rain we've had and the weather we've had here. So you're actually going to you're going to be belching more of that CO2 in the air. I mean, come on, do you not have any common sense and think about this? I mean, I just found that funny that, you know, and he talks about the note to Chattanooga, there's an ordinance that limits lawn vegetables to 10 inches high. That needs to change. No, I mean, you don't get it, pal. You're going to spend, you know, you're going to spend the same amount of time, more than likely. It just makes you feel better. Or maybe you're lazy and you don't want to mow every week. Maybe that's why you wrote it. The other one is teach your kids to be good stewards of the environment. What is that? I mean, what is a good steward of the environment? You know, the whole recycling thing, you know, if you want me to recycle, come at me with the economic angle of that. Not that I'm saving the planet. I can't save the planet. You can't save the planet. The planet doesn't need to be saved, first of all. You can't save something that doesn't need to be saved. This is their religion. It's based on faith, just like any religion, because like I said earlier in the week, they can't tell you what the weather is going to. It's supposed to rain yesterday. All week we were saying there was a 60% chance of rain on Thursday, and we get to Thursday, and guess what? There's no rain. So they can't tell me what's going to happen at the end of the week, much less at the end of my lifetime. All right, there's my rant and rave. Boy, I've been on the climate change this week. That's unusual for me. All right, no climate change next week. We won't even, in fact, I don't even think we're going to have weather next week. I'm just going to tell everybody no weather next week. No, and I'm not talking about the weather cast. I'm talking about we're just not even going to have weather. That way there's no controversy. Okay, I have banned weather for a week here in Chattanooga. So when you go outside and there's no weather, you can say that I did it. You're listening to Eric Judd, and this is Nooga Strong. And this is Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m. It's a happy Friday. Look, we still have half off on our website. Just go to the website, hotnewstalkradio.com. At the 50 off tab, click on it. There's a variety of items there. Gift certificates to swords to anything else you may want. Anything you want, scroll down to the bottom. And what you do is just fill out that information, non-financial information. Somebody from this radio station will contact you, and you will get one heck of a deal that will at least be 50% off. You are listening to Eric Judd. This is Nooga Strong. It's a happy Friday in the beautiful scenic city of Chattanooga. We will be right back.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
If you have the DT, Jake, because your phone is on the fritz, you have nomophobia. You need help. Your telecom doctor is in. Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall. Cell Surgeon yanks open the ribcage of your phone, pries out the dead heart, and puts in the beating life that you lead on your cell phone. Broken screen, phone not charging, water damage, battery given out? Cell Surgeon at Northgate Mall next Old Chicago Pizza. Check us out on Facebook. Open Sunday. Cell Surgeon. We bring your phone back to life. Mention Hot News Talk Radio and get 10% off.
Sky Aerial Services uses advanced drone technology to give you a better perspective and depth of your property and project. We offer aerial photography and video for your business, farm, home, or advertising campaigns, as well as editing services to complete the experience. Call us at 423-521-0284 and see how we can help you tell your story about your business, property, or project. We work with real estate professionals, both commercial and residential, developers, engineer inspectors, surveyors, ad agencies, auto and boat dealers, mapping services, insurance inspectors, corporate marketing, charity events, weddings, and photographers. Our consultation is free. Call 423-521-0284. That's 423-521-0284, or visit our website, skyaerialservices.com. Sky Aerial Services. The sky is our limit.
We've got a table here at Delia's in Saudi Daisy, ready to delight in a plate of authentic Mexican food. Delia's spreads a rich selection: loaded nachos, crazy chicken, homemade tamales, maybe the enchiladas with beef, chicken, pork, quesadillas. Every dish beautifully pictured on the menu to help us decide. Join us for lunch or dinner. We're at Delia's in Saudi Daisy on Dayton Pike near the Thrasher Light. Here's dinner. Delia's uses the freshest ingredients, cooked to perfection. Nachos, homemade. Delia's open every day except the Lord's Day. For lunch and dinner, treat yourself to Delia's genuine Mexican food. In Saudi, call 521-7145. That's 521-7145.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
News Talk 1240.
Happy Friday. It's Happy Friday in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The weather's wonderful. Now remember, we have weather through Sunday, and come Monday, there will be no weather. It's supposed to be about 89, 90 degrees today. The low tonight to be in the mid-60s. Humidity lower. All weekend looking good. Kind of that low 90s, mid-60s at night. Something you really don't get the end of July, 1st of August. And we're happy it's here. You're listening to Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m. You don't need to listen to any other radio station ever. You can listen to 1240 a.m. You can pick us up at hotnewstalkradio.com. You can follow us on Twitter. And the reason we want you to follow us on Twitter, and that's at Hot News Talk Radio, is because we want you to be a reporter out there. If you see something's going on, tweet it to us. If it's something big, we're going to get on the air with it. If not, we're going to retweet it, get it out to all of our Twitter followers, because we want everybody to be informed. In fact, you report and the world decides, and Chattanooga decides. You're listening to Nooga Strong with Eric Judd. If you don't have the TuneIn app, I'm going to give you through the weekend to get it so you can listen to us anywhere. Simple, download it on your smartphone, and then you can listen to us. And it's Hot News Talk Radio, 1240 a.m. You can listen to us anytime, anywhere. It doesn't matter. You can be in New Zealand, you can be in Canada, or you can even be in Georgia and hear us. And if you'd like to see what I'm wearing today, and I will have to say I look pretty good in this captain's hat. feeling pretty good in the little G-string too. It's a great Friday. You can go to YouTube, and there, just type in youtube.com and then type in Hot News Talk Radio. Subscribe to us. Actually, subscribe to us. And then you'll know whenever we go live, which we go live from 9 to 11. Then we go live from 11 to 12, 12 to 1. Then we go live again from 5 to 6, and then 6 to 7. And then you can listen to see all of our radio hosts. We have a great time. We enjoy ourselves. We're going to inform you. We're going to entertain you. We're going to get into drone news here in just a moment. But after me comes the Digital Drive with Russell. And as I said, he loves to do those high kicks. When he gets excited, you can tell when he's getting excited. And if you're watching the YouTube broadcast, he starts doing these high kicks. And he's kicking his legs up and feet up in the air, and he doesn't wear shoes. So we may have a contest one day. And if you can call in and tell how many high kicks that he's done, we'll get you something. I'll make sure we get you something good. We may have to do that next week since we've canceled the weather, and I'm talking about the weather itself, not the weather forecast. Cancel the weather for next week. Maybe we can just have Russell do high kicks all week. I know I would enjoy that, and he loves it. He's like, my passion is cat juggling, and his passion is high kicks. So listen to him on the Digital Drive. He's going to be talking about the drone getting shot down in Louisville, Kentucky, and he's going to expand on that. Not only that, but anytime you have any run-ins with the government, he thinks you ought to video it, and there's good proof that you should video it, and I'd stand behind him on that. So listen to the Digital Drive. It's from noon to 1. Then you have Laura Ingraham from 1 to 3. Nice alternative to the other guy. And then you got the number 2 talk radio show host in America, and Sean Hannity from 3 to 5. And, he's on Fox News. He has a radio program. Sometimes he's here in the studio with us, and he's a fun guy to be around. You'll really like listening to Sean. And then we've got the Hot News Live at 5, where we make Russell put on shoes, and he puts his news director hat on, and he comes in here, and he's going to inform you from 5 to 6. He's going to give you weather updates. He's going to give you traffic updates to make sure you get home on time and to make sure you get home safe. And then he's going to give you all of the Chattanooga local news, and then anything that may be happening of importance, national and world news, he'll give you that too. And then the most unique show on the radio is Cowboy Up with Tex. And I know if you're watching him on YouTube, which a lot of people do, he's got his hat on. You know what? I'm going to have to ask him this, because I know he wears his hat and his cowboy boots, but he needs to be wearing his sidearm. I mean, if he's cowboying up, he got to have his sidearm on. I'll get on him that way. That way you can see exactly what's going on here at the radio station. And it's a fun-filled, packed weekend, and I know on Sunday you're going to be listening to our station because NASCAR will be on here as it is every Sunday. 1:30, that's the Pocono race. Remember that. 12:40 a.m. and hotnewstalkradio.com. You can hear every lap of every race for NASCAR here. Now we're going to get into some drone news. Man, it's been a busy week. It's been a great week. And actually, I have a caller, so hold on just a second. Let me get the caller on. Hello, caller.
Hello. Hey, Eric, it's Tex.
Hey, Tex, how you doing, man? You gonna wear your sidearm for your show?
I am always packing.
That's good. See, I can't see it sometimes on the webcam because you move around a lot and with your boots clanking and stuff. And I'm a hat guy. I love hats, so I love seeing you in your cowboy hat.
Yeah. I've got 3 different cowboy hats, and I've got 2 different pistols. So it just depends on what mood I'm in.
I understand. Well, it's good to know you're going to be packing, and be sure and watch him on YouTube so you can see which cowboy hat that Tex is wearing, and more importantly, which one he's packing with. Okay?
Talk to you later.
Hey, what are you going to be talking about right quick, Tex? This afternoon?
Do what now?
What are you going to be talking about this afternoon, right quick? Give the listeners a preview.
Probably a little bit more about Planned Parenthood and how they just lie. I mean, they cannot speak English. Say what you mean what you say. It's that simple. When they start prevaricating and using these big, long words, they're lying.
I would agree with you, and they're murderers, and you need to tell people that. And I tell you what, listen to Cowboy Up with Tex. That's from 6 to 7, Monday through Friday on Hot News Talk Radio. Tex, thanks for calling in, and I'll be listening.
Okay.
All right, man. All right. That was good to hear from Tex. I called in on his show yesterday and kind of gave a report on some traffic. It's always good listening to him. I'm going to tell you, it is a great show. All right, let's get into this drone news, because this is something that is near and dear to my heart. And really 3 different articles that kind of go together. Everyone's worried about 2 things. That's the, drones everywhere, and you can't even go outside because they're buzzing everywhere, and they're going to spy on us, and they're going to do all this stuff, which none of that's going to happen. But what I like to see is there are people in the private sector that are saying, hey, let's get ahead of this. Let's do this. And of course, one of them is Amazon, because this can be a very, very important tool for them. And, they are the largest retailer now. I believe they took that over from Walmart here just recently. And if they can get this drone delivery system, it's going to be a huge boon for their business. But Jonathan Downing, now he's only 31 years old. He's the founder and CEO of Airware. And what they do is they do a lot of the hardware and software for commercial drones. And so he is very big into this, and he's worried about what is going to happen to the airways. What is going to happen when these commercial drones go out and start flying? And some of what he does with his software and he's developing is so that you can get away from the line of sight. Right now, if you're flying a drone, you have to fly a line of sight. You can't watch your monitor. You can't watch whatever it is and fly legally and fly it by not being able to see the drone, which means, depending on where you're at, if you're on a high mountain, you're going to be able to see further than if you're down in a valley. But once that drone gets away where you can't look up at the air and see it, you're not allowed to fly any further than that. So he is coming up with the technology, and he believes that, this is where it's going to be, because this is to be like the military grade drones where you don't have to line of sight, where you're flying remotely. And so that's what he wants to do. And he wants to get out in front of this, and he wants to be able to develop the software and then be able to go in and have proposals and say, look, here's what we need. Here is the space we need. Here is the airspace we need, which dovetails into exactly what Amazon's talking about. They have come out and proposed a 200 square foot space of air. And that means that their drones will stay at 200 feet above the topography of their own, which is really neat and something new. And they don't want anything else to be able to fly in that airspace. Of course, they're going to be very conscious of airports and those flight patterns, but they do not want to be able to, because these drones are going to be out of line of sight and they're going to be remotely. They want to keep it between around that 200 foot, and I'm talking about 200 foot high, and kind of keep that space clean for their delivery drones, which I don't have a problem with at all. I think that's good, as long as we know where that space is. When I'm flying anywhere between 100 and 150 feet, or I'm going above that 200 foot because I need to be at 300 feet or 350 feet. So they're proposing that a 200 space, and this keeps all other aircraft out of that. And they also and I like this, I think this is very important, that you kind of, you have 100 foot cushion between the drones. Okay. And I think that's good. I mean, if you know anything about drones, you get too many in the air and you start flying around one another and doing all this stuff. It doesn't take long till you have an accident and you have a crash, and then that's not good at all. I mean, not good at all. So what I like is that Amazon is out in front of this. Airware is out in front of this before the government. I mean, the government hadn't even thought about this stuff. They're just saying, no, we don't understand it. And that's why America is so far behind the rest of the world when it comes to drone usage, not the technology. I mean, we are developing the technology and probably could be developing even more technology. And, we're starting to see our universities step up and actually have drone programs or unmanned aerial vehicle programs. And closest one to us is MTSU, Middle Tennessee State University. They have a great program there. Now, Amazon, not only have they come out and said, here's what we'd like to do, but they have gone to NASA, which I think is, pretty smart on their part. I mean, NASA, you know, there are some great minds in NASA, and they've gone to NASA and said, how can we do this? You know, how can we make this work? Because here's what we're going to have. And my understanding from what Amazon is proposing right now is they're going to use a waypoint system, which means if it leaves Amazon out there at Enterprise South, they're going to put the waypoint in for your home, and it would actually fly to your home. So someone wouldn't be flying it. They would be monitoring it, but it's going to fly by waypoint, which means it takes off one place. It's going to go land, put the package down, and then come back to the original waypoint. Now, is that technology there now that they can do that? Probably not. It's close. It's getting real close. But I like the way Amazon is out in front of this and say, we're going to need these airwaves. Here's what we're going to need. That way these airwaves are clean, they're clear, and here is what we propose. Instead of waiting for we're ready to take off and do all this, and the government says we got to do a 24-month study, you know, start your study now. Get ahead of this. The commercial use of drones is the tip of the iceberg. And I'll tell you what, not only technology-wise, but for our economy. You're going to see that this is going to have a huge impact in a positive way for our economy. I was talking to some people yesterday. They said, what's going to put people out of jobs? Actually, it's going to add jobs. The forecast I'm seeing are about 125 to 150,000 jobs over the next 10 years. Now, that's pretty good from this industry. And that's just a forecast. It's usually more. So, you know, I'd like to see that these companies are saying, here's the technology, here's what we would like to see happen to make this so it's viable and working, and getting ahead of the game instead of coming to the table late with the government with no common sense saying, well, we had one person that said that this may happen or whatever. So, you know, that's kind of where we're at, and that's our drone news for this week. And I'm going to have more next week. In fact, I'm going to probably try to devote a show to, because I got tons of stuff that I haven't talked about when it comes to drones, and I could talk about it over and over. In fact, California right now are using drones in their drought-stricken areas to fly over, kind of do some mapping on that, pictures of that, so they can see if there's a better way for them to kind of move the water resources around. Hey, listen to us all weekend. Got a great lineup. Of course, NASCAR 1:30 on Sunday. They're at Pocono. Then on Monday, don't forget, we have Daybreak USA. Great show. Very positive, very uplifting show. And, you know, listen to it. You're going to love it. I'm going to tell you what, it will get your morning started off right. It's hosted by Angie Austin. She does a very good job covering all types of issues. And then, of course, following her, and I don't think he's listening, so I'm going to say it's the smartest man in Chattanooga radio, David Tulis. And he's on from 9 to 11. Then we'll be back here on Nooga Strong from 11 to 12. And then the Digital Drive from 12 to 1, followed by Laura Ingraham, 1 to 3, Sean Hannity, 3 to 5. And then, of course, we've got our Hot News Live at 5. And that is at 5. Isn't that wild? It's 5 to 6. And then, as you just heard, Tex just called in, and it's good to hear from him. I'm glad he's up this early. I didn't think he got up this early. I didn't think he rolled out of the bed about 3 o'clock. But, you know, Cowboy up with Texas from 6 to 7. Then after him, Megan McCain. We got best lineup in the city. We got great local programming, and we have great national programming. Listen to us all weekend. My name is Eric Judd. This is Nooga Strong. You're listening to 1240 AM Hot News Talk Radio, and that's hotnewstalkradio.com. Hey, we are always on our Twitter, so go to Twitter, Hot News Talk Radio. You can listen to us, or you can get our feeds there, be part of us 24 hours, 7 days a week. And you know what? No matter where you're at, no matter what you're doing, the TuneIn app will always get you fed in. So if you want to listen to NASCAR and you got to go to Atlanta, you don't want to have to worry about it, and I wouldn't do this anyway, flip around to other stations, click it on that TuneIn app, and you got us all the way to Atlanta. I appreciate you listening. It is a great and wonderful Friday. Get outside, enjoy your weekend, go to the Lookouts, go to the Chattanooga FC, and listen to NASCAR on 1240 AM. My name is Eric Judd, and this is Nooga Strong.
If the South would have won, we'd have had it made. I'd probably run for president of the southern states. The day Elvis passed away would be our national holiday. If the South would have won, we'd have had it made.
NASCAR. Laura Ingraham, David Tulis, Coast to Coast AM, and CBS Radio News. Chattanooga's news, talk, and sports leader.
News Talk 1240.
You give us 12 minutes and 40 seconds, we'll give you Chattanooga and the world.
WSDT Sunny Daisy, Chattanooga.
CBS News, I'm Steve Kaith, and early results are in on an experimental Ebola vaccine. We're live with CBS's Barry Bagnano.
There's excitement about them, Steve, because they show the vaccine might be up to 100% effective when given immediately to people in contact with an Ebola victim and then to their contacts. This medical trial in Guinea was fast-tracked.
There are a number of issues about how the study was conducted.
But Georgetown infectious diseases expert Dr. Jesse Goodman says
they're so striking that I think they show this vaccine has some effectiveness, which is terrific.
Guinea is where the world